Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this late 2014 Mac Mini model A1347. So first what you're going to want to do is remove this bottom cover. So to do that, you just use either your fingernails or a pry tool. If your fingernails aren't long enough, you can just wait till they grow out unless you need to fix it right away. But basically you get underneath the cover and then you just pull it straight up. Okay, same thing with the bottom. You don't want to kind of pull it at a weird angle like this because you might damage it. You just want to pull it up. Okay. So there you go, that's how you remove the cover. The part where it has this line here, the smaller half, that's where the 2 screws for this antenna section is. So just keep that in mind when you put it back. Alright, so once you get that, you'll want to use a T6, but you need a security bit. So I don't know if you can see this, but the T6, yeah, I don't think you can see it. Oh, you can't, barely, kind of, not really. But basically there's a little hole on this screwdriver bit, and that allows, there's a little thing that sticks up on these screws to prevent you from taking them out. So keep in mind you will need that, and all these screws are different sizes and lengths, so try and keep them in order. Okay, so we'll remove those screws. So to keep them in order, what I like to do is just put them out on my table, kind of in that pattern that I'm taking it out. So this is kind of like a circle, so I'll just make it like this. All right. Just like that. All right, so once you get all those screws out, you can lift this metal part off. It might be difficult to grab this. It's easier to grab kind of the wireless part. But once you get it, if you can't lift this, you can use like a little hook to kind of hook into these holes, but just be careful not to insert the hook too far. But I like to use the little wireless circle disc, and then after you lift it, you can kind of get underneath the metal plate. Be careful because there's the wireless antenna under here. So you might want to actually flip it this way to make it a little bit easier. Okay. Lift it up. There's the antenna going here, so you just want to move this out of the way. If you want, actually you will have to remove this. So I think this screw, you can use the T6 as well. Okay, so we'll use the T6 screwdriver for this as well. Remove the one screw, set it aside. Again, keep in mind that all these screws are different, so you don't want to mix them up. And then to remove the antenna, you want to lift from the tail. Let me see if I can do a close-up of this. I might have to be careful that I don't knock the screws over. But so you got this, and then to lift it up, you want to go from the tail end. You don't want to pry up the front, okay? So I'll use this little tab, and then I just pulled it up, and as you can see, it disconnected itself, okay? Remember, this antenna did go underneath the shell over here, so it did go underneath this, on top of this plastic piece, which is, I believe, the power supply. Okay, so it is still a little dusty. I'll clean it up later, but that's how you remove the wireless antenna, so you can get this metal plate off. Okay, so let's zoom back out a little bit. Actually, I might have to zoom in so you can see. I believe, are these all T6? Okay, so all these screws come out with a T6. I'm gonna flip this back over. If you're flipping it over all over the place, just keep that in mind, because when you put the screws back, you wanna remember where you got them from again. Okay, so these screws you can take out as well. I'll put them here. Hopefully, let me zoom out so you can kind of see how I'm putting the screws. All right, so you got that, then you got the other one here. Okay, this screw I believe stays in the fan. Be careful here because the cable is connected down here. So let me zoom in and show you how I disconnect that. Okay, so you got the cable is here. So the way I remove the cable, what you do is you get your fingernails underneath, or you can get a pry tool. So as you can see, I'll usually put like my thumb there, but for the video it's hard to see. So I'll put my finger there, and then while I'm kind of pinching the wire to keep it from moving, I pry up with my fingernail as close to the connector as possible. So you do that, and then it pops out just like that, okay? So just like that, and this screw stays on, this screw stays on the fan, okay? So we'll just set that aside. All right. These little cables are pretty difficult to remove. To be safe, what you want to do is press and hold the power button since it's unplugged now. You want to drain any power so you don't accidentally short anything out here. But the hard drive is in this plastic caddy under here, so we are going to have to take all of this out, okay? So I'll show you how to do that soon. Let's see here. So we got these two connectors we got to remove, and then the antennas you can leave on there. We just have to remove this other screw as well, okay? So we'll go here. We'll remove this screw here because this is holding the hard drive connector in place. Let me zoom in for you to see that. All right, so we'll remove that one screw. Okay, you will have to remember where all these came from. Keep that in mind, okay? There's this metal plate. You want to remove that. Okay, then to remove this connector, just get your pry tool or fingernail underneath and pop it up just like that. It will come out, okay? This connector is pretty difficult. You can use like the screwdriver, but you might have to get a smaller one. I like to use a bent needle, but whatever you have that will work, you can use that. So I have this, let's see here. Oops, I'm getting it off screen, sorry. So this cable is a little difficult to remove, but I just use like a little bent needle. And same idea as the other one. You want to get as close to the connector as possible and then kind of pry it up. All right, so let's see, I get the needle all the way to the edge, and then once I get that, I kind of use my fingernail to keep the other end and then pull it up just like that. Okay, so that's how I pull that connector out. All right, if you have a small little hooked tool, you can use that to pull up on the wires. Okay, so let's zoom back out now. All right, so now we're going to remove the one screw from here. Okay, there are a lot of screws in here, so it's a little bit tough to keep track of, but yeah, try and keep track of it as good as you can. Take pictures if you want. All right, so I believe those are all the screws we need to remove. Okay, so the easiest way that I found to pull the thing out is you take your screwdriver, and if you see these holes, they're like lined with metal. So I'll use that. I'll put the screwdriver in there and then I'll pull on it, okay? Just like that, and switch to the other side and then pull on it while I'm holding this metal piece. Okay, there might be, is there another screw holding it? It's stuck pretty strong. Let me make sure I got all the screws out. I don't think I have to take out these metal things if I remember correctly. These don't have, yeah, those aren't screws. Okay, so those should be all the screws. If it's too tough, you might need to use two screwdrivers. So, but basically you just pull on this. It takes quite a bit of strength. But okay, that side popped out, so you want to keep going, work on it. This side for some reason is stuck. I don't see any screws that are holding it, so I think I just have to work on it harder. Sometimes it's better to switch to a larger screwdriver just so you don't break the smaller one. So I'm going to use a T8. Whatever barely fits that hole is best. Okay, and then you just pull on it. Oh, why is this side not coming out? That's really weird. Okay, I'll just continue on this side. This side came out, so I don't know if am I missing something here? I don't see anything I'm missing. I don't think I have to take this screw out. Let me try taking it out and see. I don't think it goes very far, so. Yeah, this screw is super short. That's not going to hold the board down. So, I don't know what's holding this in. Normally it's not that difficult to move. There's nothing else. Wireless antennas. Okay, so I'm just going to keep trying to pull it. Alright. Come on. Jeez, why is this one stuck so strong? This is usually never stuck like this. Let me push this back in. Is the clip on here or something? Something is stuck very strong in here. I don't see anything else holding it. It's very strange. No screws, nothing. Okay, let's try again. Still nothing. Jeez, why is it not moving? I guess we'll try this one again. This side comes out no problem. Okay, so what's going on here? They don't have a lock or anything on this thing. I don't know why, but this, oh, there we go. Okay, so I pulled out this side a bit more, and that made it easier to pull this side. So you don't want to yank it too far because the power supply is still connected here. So we will have to disconnect the power supply once we kind of yank it slightly. So when you have it out a tad bit like that, then you have some room. You can grab the cable here. Let me zoom in on that as well. Okay, so now you can actually reach that, and you want to be pulling on this while you're kind of pulling the cable. So let me see if I can show this. If you can get a pry tool, you can kind of pull that, but it works better to kind of pull the cables because the lip for this connector is very small. Okay, so again, you just grab the wire, kind of wiggle it like this. Keep wiggling it, and it'll pop out just like that. Okay. So the trick is you have to wiggle it, don't just pull straight back, okay? All right, so once you got that, let's show here again. Okay, so once you got that disconnected, you can pull the logic board out, or the motherboard. There's not really anything you can upgrade under here. There's no replaceable RAM. There is the CMOS battery under this tape thing, but you almost never have to replace that, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I believe the memory module, or they're soldered to the board, but I think they're underneath this metal clip, this metal cover, but I'm not going to take it out because I can't really do anything with that. So I'm not going to show the full, well actually I guess I can pause it, clean the dust, and I'll show the reassembly process. But let's go here and take the rest of them out. So to get the hard drive out, you have to remove the screws here. So if this screwdriver is a little bit fat, so what I do is I use one of these little adapter things to make the thing longer, and this is a skinnier bit so I can actually reach better. Okay, so I want to remove this screw here. So these are T6 screws again. Okay, so remove that one, and then we'll remove this one. Okay, and those are all the screws, but now we have to remove the power supply. Okay, so we got all the screws out of there, but we need to remove the power supply from here. So to remove that, let me see if I can show you this. It's kind of difficult to see because it's kind of dark. But in here, there's, oops, where is it? I can't see what I'm showing you. There we go. So in here, there's this little metal clip thing. So you want to use your finger, grab that, and then just slide it over. Okay, just like that. You can slide it out. So later, you're going to have to put that back, so keep it in mind. Okay. Take out that metal clip, set it aside, and then this piece here, you want to twist it. So twist it like that, and that disconnects it. So when you put it back, remember you're going to have it twisted like this. Put it in. There's some little grooves down here that are a little bit difficult to see on both sides, the top and the bottom. So I don't know if you can actually see them. But anyways, once you God, it's so hard to keep this in the right spot. But once you twist that out, then you can actually disconnect, slide out the power supply. Okay, so you got that wire out. I like to use this tab here that the screw was holding to kind of help pull it, but you can basically just pull this wire that came out. Let's see if there's that, and then help guide it with this screw thing. Okay, just like that. So this is the power supply. If your Mac Mini isn't turning on, this is what you'll probably need to replace. You'll probably want to check yours, but the part number here is it going to zoom? Is it going to focus? 614-0515, I think. I don't know if that's the actual part number. Actually, the part number, yeah, 614-0515, okay? And then they have a model number, ADP-85AF, okay? So I've never seen the power supplies on these go out, though I guess it is possible if there's like power outage or shortage or something and it shorts out the whole circuit, or does a power surge. But anyways, once you remove the power supply, then you'll want to remove this, okay? This thing is a little bit tricky to line up when you put it back in, but I'll try and show that after I clean out all the dust. Okay, so this, you just take this out. Make sure to guide all the wires underneath. You don't want to get it caught on something and then damage the cables. Okay, so this whole tray just comes out like that. There's this little gold contact here for the power supply. So be careful with it. Okay, then you got some screws here. I think those are T8s. Let me double check. So the whole thing, to take this apart, you just need T6 and I think T8 screwdriver. So let me see here. Okay, so we got this. There are 4 screws on each side, so you want to remove the 4 screws. Okay, those just hold the hard drive in place. So if you're putting an SSD, you probably don't need to worry about this little foam pad thing that they put there. That's not really important. It's, I think, for vibration. If you drop the computer, it's supposed to help absorb the shock. But yeah, so let's remove the 4 screws. Okay. Sorry if I'm going out of view. Let's see here. So once you get all these 4 screws out, you want to be careful because the connector, I think, is held in with some tape. Let's see. I'll make sure. On the other ones I worked on, I think there's some tape that holds it. Okay, so we got that. Alright, so now that we got all 4 screws out, the hard drive will come out. Be careful. You do have to guide this cable out from underneath. So you can kind of use the foam tab to kind of pull on it. Just go gently, slowly. Okay. Then turn it over. Make sure that, it's hard to see, sorry. But make sure you guide this cable in through the slot, okay? You don't want to just yank on it and then you can accidentally tear this cable. Okay, so make sure to turn the thing around and pull it through. So the cable comes out, or the hard drive comes out like that. All right, so again, you do want to, there's a adhesive here that you're gonna have to peel off. It looks like someone already kind of started it. It's been peeled up a little bit, but you will have to peel that off. Again, I like to use a little needle. The needles work really well. Let me see if I can do a close-up to kind of show you. The lighting is kind of sucky, I think, because this is too bright. So let me move that out of the way. There we go. So let me zoom in and I'll set this down so it doesn't move out of the camera. But basically what I'll do is I'll take the needle and kind of get underneath part of it. You can do this with your fingernails or a pry tool, but this cable's a little bit in the way. So once you get that, I can grip the cable with my fingernails. You can probably use some tweezers too if you want. But just get that up. Okay. And then let's see if I can keep this in view. My hand's probably going to just block the whole way. But this end of the cable is also held down with adhesive. You don't want to crease it, so make sure when you peel it up, you do it slowly and gently and try and keep the cable flat. All right, so once you get this cable over slightly, what you want to do, this cable's in the way, but you just peel it over. Let's see here. So I just grab it and I pull it over down this side. Let's see here, just like that. Okay, and then you want to kind of keep this adhesive to hold onto the new SSD, though you can just use any tape. All right, so once you do that, then you got the connector here. You just pull it out, just pinch it on the sides and then just wiggle this out. Okay, so that's how you disconnect that. Now you just have to transfer this over to the SSD, basically everything in reverse. So we'll grab the SSD now. Okay. Alright, so grab the SSD and reconnect this. If you need to see how to clone the hard drive or to do a clean, or if you need help doing a clean OS install, just let me know. But I have a video showing how to clone the hard drives for other computers. Okay, so once you do that, again, put the little adhesive back in. Okay, this adhesive will kind of curl on itself, so if it's too much trouble, you can just cut a new piece of adhesive and stick it on. Okay, so just like that. Doesn't need to be perfect, just enough to kind of keep the connector from pulling itself out too easily. Okay, so that's holding itself in place well. Okay, so now we get the hard drive caddy box again. Alright, so we have to put it back the same way. So this cable goes out to this side and then you have the hole on that side. Okay, so just thread it through. You can reattach the adhesive down here. Okay, and then just thread this through like that. Put the hard drive in. Alright, and then we just got to reattach the screws. So I believe these 4 screws are the same on all sides, but it's always nice to put them back in the same spot that you took them out from. So try and keep that in mind if you can. All right. Okay. Oh, so this hard drive, you kind of have to make sure it lines up properly. If you push it too high, it might not line up properly. So make sure there's a little hole here on the top of the plastic piece. I don't know if you can see, but you can use that to pinch the hard drive or the SSD, and then you can align it to where it needs to be. Okay. So the alignment isn't that important for once you have it all put together, because the cable allows you some slack, but it's important to be able to line it up properly so that you can get the screw in. Otherwise you won't be able to get the screw in properly. Okay, so we got those 2 screws. All right, then we got to put the other 2 screws on the other side. Basically all the same, T8 screws. Okay, be careful that you don't smash anything down and damage it while kind of trying to put the screws in. Okay, got that one. Tighten up this screw as well. Okay. All right, I'm gonna clean the dust off the components and I'll be back. I'm gonna pause the video. See you in a bit. All right, I'm back. So now we're going to put everything back together. Okay, so first what you want to do, of course, is put the hard drive tray in place. So make sure you get it back right in the right way. I don't think you can put it through the top, can you? Oh yeah, you can actually fit it through the top. So if you want, you can fit the hard drive tray through the top. Let me see if there's, I might have to explain some stuff. So there are this little thing that sticks out there. You do want to get it in, I don't know if you can see, but at the bottom, there's that little, oops, the little hole down there. Oops, where is it? I can't see. That little silver hole. So you want to get that back in place. Wait, there's a fly. Okay, so you want to try and line that back up. So insert the thing in there. Okay, the other thing you want to line up is the little screw hole here. So you get that. You'll know you did it right if you hold this down, and then if you try and lift it, it kind of stays in place. If you have it slightly out, then you'll see like you can lift it. Okay, so make sure you get that screw lined up, and then the back should be lined up and it should hold in well. Okay, after you do that, you can put the 1 screw back on this side. Okay, just switch back to the T6 screwdriver. So you can put back this 1 screw. It'll help. Actually, I think you can put back both. I don't remember. Let me see if the power supply goes in there. Okay, so put back that 1 screw. I need to use this extender to help. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, oh yeah, the power supply does go on top of this, so you can't put that screw back yet. But to put back the power supply, you basically just slot the fat end in first. You got the cable on this side. Okay, so just slide it through. Okay, just like this. If it gets caught, just kind of wiggle it around. Okay, so make sure that this cable is twisted while you're slotting it, and then just line this up. All right, once you get all the screw holes lined up, you can put the 1 screw back in. Okay, take that adapter off. All right, let's tighten that up. Okay, don't tighten it too much, just tighten it so that it's kind of difficult to twist. You don't want to break these because these are plastic, so you can crack them if you over tighten it. All right, then you got this piece again. Let's see if I can show this. All right, so what you want to do is line up the top part and the bottom part with the little grooves, and then you want to twist it. So I don't know if I can show this, but you get that in place and then you can twist it. Okay, so twist it so that this is parallel to the bottom. And there are, if you look inside, I don't know if I can show this, but there's another groove. Make sure the bottom one actually goes into the back groove. So you don't want it, there's a front groove as well. So, oh, it's on both sides. So make sure that you get this into the groove, one groove back, okay? So if you can see in the top, there's like a groove there, and the bottom, there's a groove there. All right, and once you do that, just get this metal piece back, all right, and slide it, slide it so that it straddles the bottom piece of the plastic part of this connector. All right, and once you put that in, all right, make sure, make sure it doesn't move, but now you can't twist this anymore, okay? So that's what that's for. It's just to prevent it from twisting around. Okay, so now we got that. We're gonna put the motherboard or the logic board back in. Man, I keep getting scam calls. Make them go away. Okay. Oops. What did I get out? There we go. Okay, let's zoom back out. Oh, I keep activating my calculator. There we go. So now we're gonna slide the motherboard back in. So you got the speaker on this side, on this little gap here. Just slide that in. Right? Make sure to go slowly. Be careful. You don't want to get it caught on anything. Okay, just like this, and then we're gonna have to plug back in that connector there. So the board goes on top of the hard drive caddy, so keep that in mind. And then on these sides, there's these foam pads on both sides, or there's a foam pads on this side and then a clip on this side. So make sure that you get that clip to go in. Okay, so you want to kind of push this clip in so that you can get that in properly. And then the foam pads, you want to make sure to push them to get them to go underneath this aluminum part. All right, there's also a clip on this side, so just make sure the clips go in, and then you can kind of push it more. But again, you might want to leave it out slightly because you do have to reconnect the power supply connector. So to reconnect that, you just line it up and then push it back in. If you are replacing the power supply, make sure that the gold pins are exposed on this part. That you don't want, make sure you're not plugging in the cable upside down. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky, but let's see here. Pull that out. I don't know if I can show it on camera. It's hard because I have to hold it a certain way so I can see, but I'll do what I can. So you got the cable here. Okay, so just move it over. Let me pull this out slightly a bit more. Okay, make sure you get it to go underneath, where's that? Underneath the plastic that's right there. Okay, it's difficult to try and do this while it's in camera. I don't even know if it's in camera, sorry. Yeah, I don't think I can record this in camera. Oh, there we go. Okay, so sorry, I did go out of view again, but there you go. Now you got it plugged in. All right, let's zoom back out. Now we just have to put this back in again. Again, make sure the little foam pads go in and the clips go in as well. Okay, just like that. Then you got that. You can push this completely in. All right, you can reconnect these things down here. Okay, so this one you just line it up. Hopefully I got it in view. And then you just push it down. Make sure you line it up properly before you press it down. Okay, and then same thing with this one. Line it up. And then pop it down. Okay, oops, I didn't show that connector. But this one, the hard drive connector as well. Line it up and then just push it straight down. Okay, all this zooming in and zooming out kind of makes it difficult, but then you want to get this little bracket back, put that on top, get your screwdriver, okay, tighten that up. That just keeps the hard drive connector from coming back out. All right, so let's see here. We got these screws for the fans, and then we got the one for the wireless antenna. So, getting another call. Alright, sorry about that, my phone overheated. So basically we gotta put the rest of the screws back in. We already put the hard drive screw in. Oh, I need to actually clean out the fan, the dust. But anyways, we're gonna put this one screw back in here, okay? Alright, I'm gonna clean out the dust and I'll be back real quick. Alright, I'm back. So, the screw for the fan, you want to face it this way, so that way it points, the exhaust goes to the radiator here. Alright, and oh, you do want to reconnect this connector first. So the one with the little slits in it, that's where you connect it. So line it up and then just push it down. Okay, sorry if it's hard to see, but basically just line up the thing and then push it down. Alright, so put that in. We'll take these screws, make sure it's lined up, tighten it a little. Alright, same thing with that one, tighten it a little. Then I like to twist the screw backwards till you hear it click. So if you can hear that, then you tighten it a little, and then you can kind of squeeze the fan so that it lines up properly with the heatsink. And then just finish tightening up the screw. Just like that. Okay. Brush that off. Okay, so we got all of that in. Some of them actually have like a second hard drive here. I don't know if this model doesn't look like it allows for it. I don't see the hole there. But anyways, now we're gonna put the wireless antenna back in. So turn this back over. All right. So let me see if I can show this. Hopefully my phone won't overheat. It's still pretty warm. But anyways, you just line the antenna up. Make sure it's flat. I like to rub my fingernail over it to make sure it's not moving around, so I know it's lined up, and then push it down. Alright, spin the wire. Then we'll reattach the screw. Just like that. Okay, make sure it's straight. Alright, now that we got that, we just line up this cable, slide it underneath between this, that black piece, the power supply, okay? And then rotate this over and then slot it like that, okay? And make sure you have this facing the right direction. You want this so that the two taller screws go here and then the other tall screw goes down there, okay? So I'll put those in first and I'll just tighten them lightly. Okay, just like that to make sure everything's lined up. Alright. Once you know everything's lined up properly, put the other 3 screws. Okay. Right, and now you can tighten everything down. Just like that. Okay. And then I like to go over all the screws one more time just to make sure that everything's tight. So we'll just go in a circle like this. Okay. Alright, everything should be good. There's a little dust there. Alright, so we'll put the cover back on. The Mac Mini side goes up with this one. Okay, so again, with that little thing, basically just line it up and then snap it back down in place. There you go. And that's all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help others find this video. It'll also help me. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.